Sign up today for a 7-day free trial at alerts.chartguys.com.
Hey crypto friends, checking in on this space. So after a very big day yesterday, and whenever you see significant volatility in the short term, it's important to zoom out bigger picture and put everything in perspective, and that can help fight FOMO or fear or whatever's going on. So congrats to the bulls, significant bounce over 10%. And we're now looking, if you've been watching our channel, you know we've been looking for a monthly higher low to be the most likely big picture scenario. What is crypto going to do? What is Bitcoin going to do into 2020? In my opinion, it's looking for a monthly higher low. I'm not going to try and predict where that monthly higher low is going to take place. I'm going to watch shorter term time frame action to dictate when that monthly higher low has taken place. It could happen here. It could happen in 3 months down at 4,000. I don't know when, but I'm watching for it. So when we have a big bounce like that, we look at this monthly candlestick, and part of the pattern I'm watching is the lower high every month and seeing where we stand now, and knowing that we have 12 days of December left, we could see a scenario where we close fairly high up on this candle and see that pattern break of a lower high every candle to start the new year. If that were to happen, in my opinion, that's our monthly higher low being set, and we're then going to be looking for a monthly lower high somewhere in the 10 to 11,000 range, if that's our higher low. If we keep dropping down further, that target on the bounce is going to change. But I anticipate a tightening Bitcoin monthly equilibrium to play out into mid to late 2020. Again, I'm not making bets based on that, but I'm using that as my framework and then looking at shorter term timeframes to then strategize around which direction I'm looking at. So that's the monthly time frame. We will be confident when the weekly trend has changed that our monthly higher low has been set. What do we need to see a weekly trend change? Well, at this point, we now have 7 weeks in a row of lower highs every week. So as far as I'm concerned, some people would look at this and say, well, there's our bounce and our lower high. That's not enough of a pivot for me to call that a lower high, because again, the pattern of a lower high every single candle. When that breaks, I'm looking for a weekly lower high compared to 10,540. So what I would need to see for a weekly trend change is a bounce, set that lower high, form the weekly higher low, and then change that trend. Now, by the time that weekly trend changes, we might already be, up in the upper 9,000s or approaching 10,000 or our target 11,000. So that could be a little late. If I want to be aggressive, if I am confident that that monthly higher low is coming, I want to enter on a daily trend change. And this can be applied to all time frames. So if I'm looking for a daily higher low to form, normally it's an hourly trend change that indicates to me the bulls are back in control. If I want to be really aggressive, I might use the 15-minute time frame. So the time frame that you are using can determine how aggressive or how early you're trying to be on longer term signals. So for Bitcoin's daily time frame right now, we know this bounce is significant. We broke 7,300. That's a great start, but we still must see a daily higher low and a higher high, because we've now seen significant bounces multiple times in the last few months, the breakout and then the first bounce where neither changed the daily trend and both dropped to lower lows. So if we do not change the daily trend, this move proves nothing and the bears keep their control. So we currently have a daily inside bar forming. If that inside bar breaks bearish tomorrow, then we must set that daily higher low compared to 64.30 where we came from. If the inside bar breaks bullish, that means we have not topped out on this move yet, and we will still have just more space for that higher low to try and form once we do top out. So what are the clues to look at? The 4-hour time frame is currently healthy consolidation, and I would say our 4-hour higher low has been set. So low, high, higher low. The bulls must break 74.48 to change the 4-hour trend for the first time in a while on this pullback. Still have not done that yet. So if we can change that 4-hour trend, we are going to look for the top of the move not being set yet on the daily. If we fail and then break the low of this support, we will likely be then looking for the daily higher low to try and form. The bulls want to see as much space as possible on the daily time frame to give as much space as possible for that daily higher low to form. So hopefully this is all making sense, because it makes perfect sense in my mind, and that is how I approach trading everything. So right now, shorter term traders are going to be using $7,044 as a stop level, because if that level holds, we're looking good for continuation. And if that level breaks, then we lose momentum for the bulls and we look back to that daily consolidation. Normally, when I'm looking at consolidation and saying, is this a continuation pattern Or is this enough of a consolidation period that we then form an equilibrium? And what I'm looking for is the size of the retracement, and that's just something I do in my head where I can say, okay, roughly speaking, we win $1,000 on the bounce. How much did we pull back? Roughly, we pulled back $400. So it's a 40% retracement. That makes this a little bit tricky because I personally have a guideline where if it's a 33% retracement or less, a bull flag is favored. If it is 50% retracement or more, an equilibrium is favored. That's just a rule of thumb that I go by, and we're right in the middle of those two levels. So a bit uncertain as to which it's going to be out of the two, and we look at volume for clues. So if the volume is declining for bears and then increasing for bulls, the odds of continuation will go up. So we're always comparing what does the consolidation volume look like to the breakout volume or the bounce volume. What does the continuation attempt volume look like compared to the consolidation volume? So we got a little bit of a red flag this morning. This dropped down right here. Nice little bounce on the hourly, but bears fairly easily took it right back down to that level. But now it's almost a little double bottom there. So bulls are still holding it and trying to shift this momentum enough for this 4-hour higher low to hold as support, exponential support catching up a bit as well. That is as good as I can possibly describe how I am viewing the current scenario on Bitcoin, and everybody else that we're going to look at here, aside from the Bitcoin pairings, are going to have very similar charts with little variations. So we put our time and effort into the backbone of the most important ticker. For the stocks, it's the S&P 500. For crypto, it's Bitcoin. And then that makes the analysis of all the other names a lot easier and a lot more fluid. So we know this daily time frame on Ethereum is doing nothing. Bigger picture. The daily exponential resistance hasn't even been tested yet. And again, we don't have another green day in a row. So as of right now, it's not looking, I mean, we could definitely bounce further, but it's not like we need to FOMO or be rushing for missing the train. So we have a 4-hour higher low trying to form on Ethereum. The bulls to get back here have to get over 134.81. So let's just do some quick rough math. $18 bounce. How much did we pull back from the high to the current low? 134 to 125, 50%. So that's a 50% retracement that now favors an equilibrium as opposed to continuation. Is continuation possible? Absolutely. It's also possible we drop straight down to a lower low. Those are the less likely scenarios. The most likely scenario is the attempt for this 4-hour tightening range. ETH BTC is still all bear. And let's go to this Bitcoin dominance chart. I got something stuck in my throat. So the Bitcoin dominance chart, big picture monthly time frame, should be standing out to anybody that is an altcoin trader, and I am not one of them, but this is a monthly bull flag, and right now the burden of proof is heavily on the bears to prove to us that this is not a monthly bull flag because it's picture perfect at this point. And that higher low that was formed at 67.13 and 67.14 is our base, and now we're looking back up at 72.88. So we're closer to a bull break than we are to a bear break. The momentum has shifted back to the bulls. And if this bull flag confirms, Bitcoin is going to have the highest dominance that we've seen since the run to insanity in 2017. I need to now look what this yearly chart looks like. I would expect, I mean, if you want to talk big picture, I would expect a yearly equilibrium to form on this Bitcoin dominance chart. That's going to be interesting to watch play out. It's more difficult because of the lack of history. And also, it's similar if this was an IPO, it's easier to move when there's a lack of history, but I'm off on a tangent now. So, ETH BTC, when we bounce, we're just going to be looking for a daily lower high. The red flag for ETH bulls was given right here on this break of 1891, and we have dropped well below that level at this point, over 5%. Litecoin, also weak. Daily exponential resistance has not broken. 4-hour time frame. And I'm not going to go into the measurements. You can do that on your own. But looking for that higher low, it's set. Now can the bulls break 41.65 to see this 4-hour trend change? LTC BTC, also bearish. Weekly time frame. In free fall. No support nearby, which is a much more dire situation than having previous price levels of support to be looking at from much more recent. XRP, you know my feelings on XRP. I am a big time bear, technically speaking, on XRP. And that's going to remain until it changes something technically to get ahead of other names. So XRP, anything on the daily, I would say anything under 2329 is the daily lower high, weak bounce, and exponential resistance dropping down. Binance, also a weak bounce. A little bit difference because it did have a higher low yesterday compared to Tuesday, but daily exponential resistance showing us that the bulls have proven nothing at this point. Link USD is in the same boat. Same thing, 4-hour time frame. If you're interested in the individual coin, do the measurement. How much retracement have we seen? What does the volume look like? XTZ USD is different. So it's different where we have this support now of 139. The daily inside bar is attempting to form, and we need a 4-hour trend change for the bulls to prove anything. 143 is a double bottom, and the bulls would have to break 165 to change this 4-hour trend. I would be watching for a 4-hour lower high to form as a result of this bounce. So bulls still have a pretty long way to go to shift this momentum. And even when they do shift it, we're going to have to be cautious of the daily head and shoulders pattern, where if we bounce briefly and then roll back over and lose these higher lows, that will be a loss of momentum leading to weekly consolidation, which is currently an inside bar. Matic USD is also different. Double bottom play, the only support nearby from the all-out dump, 10.9, and we bounced off of 11.1. So there was a nice bottom fishing play there. We bounced quickly up to 13.65, so fast mover. Nice 22% bounce. And let's see if we can find clarity on a different time frame. So I'd be looking at this in the 4-hour where we have our higher low set, and it's a very convincing higher low. Look at this little increase in bull volume. That stands out to me. I don't think I saw that on any other name. So a 4-hour higher low on low bear volume, and then trying to see the continuation move on a little bit of an increase in bull volume, that's the ideal scenario. So let's see if the bulls are able to break resistance of 13.6 and see this 4-hour trend change and some continuation. So hopefully this video was helpful. We'll see if we get any bounce follow through. Again, for me personally, I'm remaining patient. Yes, I missed this bounce, and I'm okay with that because I did get the last 2 bounces, and those were good. I lucked out on the big bull move, getting one position there, and then I played this bounce, missed this one. What's my game plan? I'm looking for a monthly higher low. I'll try and be a little bit of aggressive. So I'm going to be looking for a daily trend change to begin establishing a position with a longer term mindset of the monthly chart. That is my game plan, and I'm sure we will talk before then. So hope you have a good day. Do good things out there this holiday season. I got a new toy, hopefully to get some content going. I got a couple of these we're going to spy on animals. It's basically what it's going to boil down to in the spring and summer. Animal Spy Cam 2000 will be put into effect, and we'll see what we can get. I had a thought driving today behind an old person. I thought a lot of people talk smack about old people driving because they're slow, obviously a stereotype. And I thought, what about the alternative? What if it was human nature where as you age, you just drive faster and more reckless? And I imagined a very old man leaned over his steering wheel in the fast lane of the highway, passing you going 85, squinting and looking at the road in front of him. So I decided that I'm okay with older drivers being slow, and we should give them some patience. They've earned it. See you next time.